What if I told you that some of the most influential black pastors don't just rely on faith to keep them safe? Armed guards, bulletproof vehicles, and military-level security measures. These men of God move like heads of state. But why? Is it the price of power? Or do they know something we don't? Today, we uncover 12 black pastors who move with military-level security and the shocking reasons behind their extreme protection. Number 12. Apostle Johnson Suleiman. Apostle Johnson Suleiman is the General Overseer of Omega Fire Ministry International, OFM, one of Nigeria's largest churches since its founding in 2004. Noted for being an influential and controversial figure, he is a mentee of well-known pastors like Ayo Ejiofor. Suleiman is flanked by heavy security wherever he goes, a measure which has sparked debate. He hasn't been shy either of responding to critics, insisting that even Jesus Christ had more protection than he does. He excuses the use of bodyguards as one of the welfare needs for men of God, just like for any other person, as the world is becoming unpredictable. Indeed, he was almost the victim of a premeditated attack. While on his way to a mission, he was attacked. 7 of his bodyguards were killed in that tragic incident, but since he was in a bulletproof car, bullets fired at his vehicle could not penetrate. One of the suspects alleged they were on a mission to kill the pastor. Why would an eloquent philanthropist pastor with a large following move around with bodyguards? Number 11. Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome. Some pastors are controversial, often speaking out on sensitive topics. This could make them targets for people who disagree with them. Bodyguards ensure their safety when they're out in public. Pastor Chris is not a stranger to criticism for speaking on sensitive topics. Sometimes his statements are taken out of context, fueling controversy. Pastor Chris founded Christ Embassy in 1987. By 2019, the church had grown to 145 branches on 5 continents. Today, the church has ministries worldwide, including Canada, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, the United States, and the United Kingdom. His ministry is made up of several arms like the campus ministry, the healing school, the kids ministry, and the television ministry, through which he reaches millions of lives around the world. At all times, Pastor Chris is accompanied by a convoy consisting of highly trained military personnel, doctors, and fellow pastors. His level of security makes him one of the most protected pastors in Africa. Number 10. Hubert Angel. Angel Hubert Mudzenier is the overall leader of the Spirit Embassy in the UK. In addition to a master's in entrepreneurship, he has a degree in education. Despite his work as a preacher, he hasn't stopped putting his education to good use. He is also a successful business owner and has his own businesses, including a high-end concierge service known as a Club Millionaire Limited in the UK, and also Sam Barkley Construction Limited, a branch of his parent company, Angel Organization. These businesses are a significant addition to his wealth and influence, putting him in a class that is different from most others in ministry. Hubert has been named as Zimbabwe's ambassador for interfaith dialogue and humanitarian affairs at the African Union. But as a businessman and political figure, even if he wished to live a modest life as a pastor, he can't do without the best security. That's why he often travels by helicopter and is followed by more than 4 bodyguards. Since he runs his diverse businesses and travels a lot to manage his business overseas, his security is an important part of his everyday life. Because of such a well-managed security detail, he often doesn't have to worry about someone trying to threaten him or navigating large crowds, so he can focus on his various business, ministry, and diplomatic duties. The next pastor is one of the youngest on the list. Number 9. Shepherd Bushiri. Shepherd Bushiri is so influential that being famous is bad for his own safety. Shepherd Bushiri is the pastor of Malawi's based non-denominational church, Enlightened Christian Gathering. He is one of the youngest pastors on our list, and he's also one of the busiest. He is also successful in business, and many may actually know him more as a businessman rather than a preacher. He has an international investment company and trades in agriculture in his country. Whether he's doing clergy work on the side or as his main job, this man is as fervent a pastor as he is a businessman, claiming he cured HIV and performed numerous miracles of the type that earn you a questionable reputation, well deserving of the type of bodyguards he moves with. Shepherd Bushiri prefers his bodyguards to be dressed in suits rather like they are a Secret Service team. But it doesn't stop there. They also surround his convoy at special events, and traffic wardens participate as well to make sure no one is within 5 meters of his car. At other times, he can be spotted alongside what looks like armed military personnel too. When it comes to security, you can never be too sure, so Shepherd Bushiri most likely just wants not to take chances. For a good reason too. He is one of the more polarizing young religious figures in the world. With so many fraud, tax evasion, infidelity, and assault charges, there are obviously certain people who wish him anything but well. His security detail is so hefty that it has even led to people publicly criticizing him and calling it unnecessarily conspicuous. He has defended himself, stating that he does need this protection. And for a man who was once banned from the country of Botswana, he may be right. This next black pastor is an influential figure who has mentored prominent preachers. Number 8. Archbishop Duncan Williams. For decades, independent charismatic preacher Archbishop Duncan Williams has been a well-known figure in the Ghanaian ministry and is widely regarded as the most revered pastor in the country. He is the head of the Action Chapel International Ministry and has contributed immensely in molding the lives of innumerable believers, and has also mentored other leading pastors, including preacher Paula White. It would be reasonable to think that throughout his years as a preacher, he would have struck a nerve or two due to his outspoken nature and his firm convictions. Apart from some traditional rulers who are not too supportive of Christian presence, however, he has escaped major public backlash. He realizes there will always be those who will go against him regardless of his good intentions. Therefore, this security measure is an indication of a proactive approach to leadership. Although such levels of protection may seem excessive for an average pastor, it is necessary for a man of his standing. His security team dresses formally when he's preaching and is prepared to step in if needed. The visible security detail offers him and his congregation peace of mind so he can concentrate on delivering his message. Besides his pastoral responsibilities, Bishop Duncan Williams is actively concerned with philanthropic works. He often visits communities and supports one cause or the other. When he visits, he is always escorted by a team to make sure he's safe, and he can go about his work as usual, safe from harm. This setup reflects both his responsibility as a high-profile figure and his dedication to his mission. Number 7. Alf Lukau. Alf Lukau is a renowned South African pastor. He leads Alleluia Ministries International. He has authored several books about the Christian faith and is more famous for the various miracles he has performed, which include freeing people from curses, healing the sick, and even raising the dead. It's not hard to tell how charismatic and popular he has become because of his ministerial work, and it would be such a shame to have anything terrible happen to him. And as much as he's a spiritually oriented person, his physical security might be even more sturdy. When he's preaching, there's always a wall of men in suits in front of the congregation. When he moves into the congregation to lay hands on them, he's always encircled by a team of bodyguards who are always alert. When he's traveling, he moves in a convoy that features 7 police bikes, 2 Rolls-Royces, and 4 SUVs. For extra precaution, the road he follows is always scouted for any possible threats so they can be handled, or an alternative route can be found. On some occasions, even the state police join in to form part of his security detail. His entourage may feature men in suits, but don't be fooled. They have military training and expertise, and nothing about his security staff is mediocre. How could a man who has his country's president sitting in the front row of his church not have security similar to his? The more grand the occasion Alf Lukau has to attend, the mightier the security he brings with him. High stakes do come with high risks, don't they? But every story has a beginning. The next pastor was mocked for his oversized suits early in ministry. Number 6. Prophet David Owuor. Prophet David Owuor is a Kenyan minister who started his ministry in the streets of Nakuru town. It wasn't all glitz and glamour in his early pastoral days. He didn't have the aesthetics that many upcoming churches had. He was often mocked for his oversized suits, and he focused more on preaching repentance than prosperity. However, as his ministry started growing at an unprecedented rate, his influence became almost unrecognizable. He is undeniably the most prominent pastor in Kenya, with multitudes in his congregation. He has even baptized and provided spiritual counseling to high-ranking government officials, as well as led various crusades locally and worldwide. With such status, power, and influence, he has been gifted luxurious cars, and the Kenyan government even pays for helicopter flights for him. He is indeed a national treasure, one that has to be protected at all costs. When he is on the road, his convoy features over 24 vehicles with motorbikes leading and following him, as well as numerous vans and police vehicles in between. Many celebrities and even some presidents do not travel with as much security. When he arrives at events, he is escorted by not just bodyguards but military personnel armed with guns and combat gear. This presence makes it clear to the public that Prophet David Owar is not someone to be approached with ill intentions. Despite an extensive travel schedule, this next pastor follows a meticulous security routine. Number 5. Matthew Ashimolowo. Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, the renowned senior pastor of Kingsway International Christian Center, KICC, commands a global following. His global recognition and influential position make him a high-profile figure and a possible target of harassment or targeted attacks. Recognizing this vulnerability, particularly during his frequent travels, Pastor Ashimolowo has taken meticulous precautions to ensure his safety. He avoids commercial flights, opting instead for the privacy and security of private jet travel. Upon arrival at any airport or hangar, a dedicated security detail is always on hand to escort him to his destination, minimizing exposure to potential threats. Given his extensive travel schedule, often involving attendance at international summits, Christian events, and other high-profile engagements, his security protocol is paramount. Whether he is a keynote speaker, a guest of honor, or simply a participant, his safety remains a top priority. To further enhance his security, Pastor Ashimolowo typically employs 2 distinct security teams, one responsible for transporting him to his destination, while the other awaits his arrival, ensuring a seamless transition and minimizing potential security breaches. This division of labor allows for specialized expertise, with one team often more familiar with the local environment than the other. For the serene expression on Pastor Ashimolowo's face, a lot of work is happening behind the scenes to ensure the effectiveness of his security measures. Confident in the capabilities of his dedicated team, he can focus on his ministry and philanthropic endeavors without undue concern for his safety. Number 4. Bishop David Oyedepo. Bishop David Oyedepo is one of the most revered men of God. He has been in ministry for over 40 years, and his church, Living Faith Church Worldwide, has over 300 branches in 4 continents. His church organizes Shiloh, a popular annual prayer program. He has written many books and is a great philanthropist whose contributions have had an effect on millions of lives. However, with his level of fame and influence, his safety is at risk due to fanatics and terrorists. For this reason, his security measures are exceptionally tight. Every time he preaches, whether in church or at an event, he's surrounded by a team of up to 9 well-trained security personnel, forming an impenetrable human fortress around him. This security detail was put to the test in late 2021 when a man from the congregation attempted to approach Bishop Oyedepo while he was preaching. Before he even realized what was happening, his security team had apprehended the individual, ensuring his safety before any harm could be done. The swiftness and alertness of his security team rival those of state leaders. Although they do not carry weapons, their effectiveness and willingness to use necessary force to protect Bishop Oyedepo are undeniable. Since that incident, the head pastor of Living Faith Church has been seen traveling with even tighter security. Number 3. Pastor E.A. Adeboye. Few religious leaders have the profile and pedigree of Pastor E.A. Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG. His ministry dates back to the 1970s, when he realized he would need to commit fully. He left his academic career to preach full-time. With numerous publications and oversight of one of Nigeria's largest churches, Pastor Adeboye has become a leading religious figure not just in Nigeria, but across the African continent. He is one of the most heavily protected pastors in the world because of his influence. His trip starts with luxurious vehicles and includes flights all chartered with security crews waiting for him at the airport before he even lands. He always travels by road in the company of a convoy, and on arriving at any place, at least a dozen security personnel in suits had already taken position to ensure his safety. To them, if Pastor Adeboye does not feel absolutely safe, it's a failure. In addition to his religious duties, Pastor Adeboye has engaged in diplomatic discussions. During such trips, his security detail is significantly reinforced. He even traveled along with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo back in 2016 when he met former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari. The fact that Pastor Adeboye has never faced a threat despite his high-profile status is down to the exceptional efficiency of his security team. Number 2. Dr. Paul Enenche. Very few people match Pastor Dr. Paul Enenche when it comes to the aspect of heavy protection and security. Dr. Enenche was a medical professional by training, but he felt called to heal people spiritually too. Inspired into the ministry during his undergraduate years, he is now the pastor of Dunamis International Gospel Center, one of the largest churches in the world. His security team is so extensive that it almost seems like his bodyguards have bodyguards. One key indicator of their efficiency is the fact that there is never a crowd between Pastor Enenche's security and their immediate surroundings. This level of logistical planning ensures smooth operations and maximum safety. When traveling by road, he is accompanied by at least 2 security vehicles with armed guards inside, as well as several SUVs, one of which transports him. When he steps out, it is evident that he is not only surrounded by spiritual protection, but also by a formidable security team. Pastor Enenche's confidence in his security allows him to travel to rural areas to preach the gospel. However, in such settings, his security detail differs slightly, as he is often accompanied by security personnel equipped with assault rifles. His protection extends beyond himself. His belongings are also safeguarded. At airports, each piece of his luggage is personally handled by a member of his detail. For Pastor Enenche, security is not just about physical safety, but also about peace of mind, knowing that he does not have to worry about anything. Number 1. T.D. Jakes. Bishop T.D. Jakes is certainly a powerhouse in North American ministry. He leads the Potter's House megachurch in Dallas with more than 30,000 members, and his influence goes beyond the pulpit. The spiritual empire has additional locations in Fort Worth, Frisco, and Denver, and inspires millions all over the world. The Potter's House has an audience in the millions when you factor in their aired programs. Bishop Jakes's work in Christian film and media also extends his reach even further. This elevates his status from a pastor of a megachurch to a celebrity pastor. Having shared the stage with many other high-tier celebrities like Oprah, Steve Harvey, and Tyler Perry, he has become a household name. While being a celebrity is polarizing enough, being a clergyman means that everything he says and does is scrutinized even more. T.D. Jakes doesn't move without proper security. He always has huge bodyguards that walk with him. They know how friendly he is, and they know he loves to take pictures with people and interact with them. But at the tiniest sign of anything suspicious, they will most certainly leap into action. His bodyguards look intimidating, so people know better attempt funny business with him. His church is located in a Dallas where fatal shootings have occurred in the past. He has a team to make sure that doesn't happen at the Potter's House. The church was even advised by state authorities to beef up security due to the shootings and challenges in the area. Now we know just how protected these prominent black pastors truly are, and why they require so much security as a matter of necessity. But what if I told you that there are black women who are even more protected than these pastors? These women are so rich, they need a team of 100 guards to protect them. We disclose everything on this video right here. Make sure you don't miss it. See you there. Bye-bye.